in the game, and that's when Flash Wolves start to falter. Going up against a duo like Tipper and Valdez, you cannot allow that to happen, because if you give them an inch, they are going to take a mile and run over you.
Indeed, and yeah, I like the little disclaimer over there with the talent predictions. It's like, hey, we didn't know what the mental state of these teams were. We didn't know how well they were going to perform yet, and it does affect. I mean, like for example, if a team is snowballing, they're going to ride that momentum. We know that, and if a team isn't doing so well, they might need to revisit some things and choose to experiment in the next game. And that might be what EVOS Esports is going to do coming into this game over here. Infinity. Right now, with the first picks coming in, with the bans coming in, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think for Renekton with Flash Wolves, I think they're actually applying similar playstyle that they did a while ago up against SBT Esports. Aggression to the barrier lane. Hopefully they can execute it once again in this series if they could up against EVOS Esports. But looking at it, you have Jarvan 4, you have Rakan following up potentially for huge counter engagers for EVOS currently.
Yeah, definitely the case. And I think the Renekton first pick here for Ysera is going to be big. We talk about that a lot. And don't forget, it's always going to be used as a nullifier for Ysera. He can use it to win lane, and Cookie does like to play through him if circumstances allow for it. But it's going to be a very good negator to what Tipper wants to play. And that's looking like it's going to be a Jarvan, so he's just going to be trying to poke him out. Going to be a bit of a sleeper lane up in the Baron lane, unlike what we expected. But Bruce, there we go, right? We talked about it. If you try to go for some utility mid, if you try to go for something safe, Bruce is going to try to punish you.
The Diana.
Yeah, Diana. Individual matchup that we saw for Flash Wolves up against a team in the play-in is all about aggression for Bruce. Picking up the Diana. And I think we can see it once again in this series up against G4, potentially going for that area route here in this game number 1. So I think that is something that we could expect and look at later on in this game 1 is the mid lane.
And I do think that the Kai'Sa pick from Flash Wolves, we do know that it's a comfort pick for a Demon. Yeah, I'm actually wondering, EVOS Esports didn't ban that out just yet, but they might be, again, testing the waters over here and, wondering. But hey, looks like Miracle is out to play this time around, so subbing out Rich. So, Omo, how do you think this is going to affect EVOS Esports?
Yeah, it's a bit of a change of pace here in the draft, right? I quite like the 5-pick Xayah. You go for the Rakan early, so you have the option to pivot off the Xayah if you want to, but seeing the Diana come in, I think is a big indicator that yes, we should pick Xayah here. We're gonna negate the Moonfall and see. Oh, just a bit of a bug. It is gonna be Rich playing. We got debated a little bit there.
we did.
It's just gonna be Rich playing the Xayah Rakan once again.
The tone for the entirety of the group stages for sure, especially pressure is running through their veins. EVOS Esports, the kings of the Summer Super Cup, immediately losing earlier into their series up against Divine. And of course, Flash Wolves, we've seen them before back in the play-ins. They've established that this is a very strong team, especially when they play around Bruce here. And he's back on the Diana, one of the champions that he played the most, even during the local qualifier.
And that's so wild, Rico. The fact that we've seen Bruce play a variety of champions at this point, coming in here, now with this Diana instead of that Assassin, I mean, you were asking, like, what's he really trying to set up for? And we've been seeing Demon come online as that sort of secondary carry, so Flash Wolves is not left alone in that regard.
Exactly. It was one of those things where during the play-ins, it was locking constantly being relegated into that mage bot lane position, while Bruce can play anything.
Yeah, really much more flexible for Bruce. He gets to do whatever he wants. Locking, he's going to have to play the Orianna, the Ziggs every single game. This time around, that's not going to be the case. And Flash Wolves, they've opened up Bruce in that regard. Going into this one, Ysera has been having some good games, but against Dipper, who's likely going to play a little bit more tanky, it's going to be difficult to solo kill. How do you feel like the impact's going to be towards the bot side?
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Ysera is now going to be on that Renekton, which is, again, one of his most successful champions. Almost all the time, 100%, he's going to be impactful, especially early to mid-game. And if you're paired with Cookie as a Lee Sin, I think that's going to be scary because Dipper, I feel like he's going to get doved upon constantly in this game.
You know what, Riku? Some would say Renekton is Ysera's only successful champion. That's some person being Omo. But we're not gonna follow that sentiment. Not in this game, not in this test. Rich is gonna make his way to the mid side. Bruce is going to have to walk away. Look, he's gonna be quite far away, and don't think he's gonna be able to save it. So it's first blood over to EVOS Esports.
Wow, wowee. And now topside too. Dipper actually drags Cookie into the grave along with him. But you mentioned about the bot portion of the map, and usually it was Omo who mentioned that Rich would like to roam, and that's exactly what we saw. Usually the Xayah and Rakan versus the Kai'Sa matchup is going to be winning, therefore Rich has a bit of that space to work with to visit the mid lane.
It's pretty wild how this whole scenario kind of set itself up. EVOS Esports, they started red side, they started red buff side, and because Bruce went over to get some information on the red buff, that gave them intel on where the Olaf was going to go. So Koki played towards the Baron lane, was able to set up for the dive. It is a 1-for-1 trade, but they do deny a little bit of golden EXP. That being said, because Ysera did not get that kill, he's going to be just about even with Tipper, and so it's not much gain for the Flash Wolves. EVOS Esports still looking in good form. Now, over by the river, the Flag and Drag starts things off, finds the knockout on the Cookie. It's a big cataclysm on the 2. It sets up the domain. You're in the ring with Veldis, who's here to have your number. He takes down 1.
I love the fact that we are seeing a lot of the Jarvan for Olaf mid lane.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, Riku, because Bruce, there's not much more to be said. Just goes down to the rotations from Rich. 2 for 2 in the mid lane.
That's crazy. Rich has been constantly visiting the mid lane. Bruce can't exactly do Bruce things because of the pressure that Rich is giving. I mean, usually when we see Bruce on this Diana, it's him very confident about the 1v1s. Not even looking for kills, actually. He's just farming in the side lanes. Eason is just so close to death there.
EVOS Esports, they're here to play, not giving Flash Wolves any space to make anything happen. I quite like this form. I quite like this, Riku. We're finally seeing the EVOS Esports that we've been wanting to. You know, the defending champions, they dropped that first game against Divine. Flash Wolves were able to tie things up 1-1. So EVOS Esports, you know, they can't let that happen. They can't let a team that tied against the team that beat them get another game off of them, you know?
Yeah, it's again that big statement. The pressure of having, again, that championship round win during the Summer Super Cup, and this is it. The big early game, they're able to match Flash Wolves now. Shut down Bruce early. He's now 0-2-0. Rift Herald, though, being started already.
Yeah, EVOS Esports are here to contest for this. Dipper is moving his way in, missed the Flag and Drag, so it's going to be difficult, but you still have Rich jumping in. It's going to be Cookie that secures the Rift Herald. Meanwhile, Flash will starting to collapse in on the EVOS Esports. Dipper tries to buy some time with the Cataclysm. It's going to be the Feather Stomp pulled through by Cat Satan, but they find the stun onto the Xayah, and the damage comes through way too quickly. EVOS Esports nowhere to respond. It's 2 more kills, and now Rift Herald in the mid lane.
The hesitation of EVOS to pull the trigger, possibly of Rich's ult to save Cat Satan's life. I mean, understandable. Cat Satan has self-peel. But now, because of that flash stun coming from Ysera, they also lose a turret. Flash Wolves, they're on the right track, sort of countering out EVOS's maneuvers around the map in the mid lane.
And we wouldn't have it any other way. Flash Wolves play so well to their macro. Once it opens itself up, they found the first initiative towards the Rift Herald. I mean, that's kind of just the issue with having Olaf jungle, right? You just don't have those gap closes. It's difficult to try and move in. And this is so reminiscent of what we've been seeing from the Flash Wolves so far, where they have Bruce as a big carry threat. And he's kind of enabling the rest of his team in the process. That being said, though, we're looking to try and empower Demon here, right? So we have to put some focus towards him. He's having some good games so far. And so I'm quite curious how this is going to play out. This is the 3rd game for the Flash Wolves in just the 2nd day of the group stage.
And they're looking pretty good with the setup of that traditional AD carry now towards Demon. And having to get that Kai'Sa, that big late game insurance, because the rest of the squad is gonna, early to mid, is mainly focused on Bruce, Cookie, and Ysera. And so far, we get to see Cookie enabling Ysera on that lane. And again, Tipper as this tank. As we take a look at that replay again, this is just a collapse, a big collapse. And Rich, unfortunately, even though he pops his ult, I think it's a tad too late. Actually, G4 and Valdis hunts for Bruce's life at the side lanes. They're basically stalking him at this point.
Oh yeah, he's been having a tough time. It looks like Rich is here to engage once again onto the Flash Wolves. Finds the first catch onto Demon. Won't be able to get away with the killer instinct. Cookie tries to get away with the safeguard. Has his number caught by EVOS Esports, though, who have come in for those 2 kills. Riku, what a bloodbath this game.
Yeah, they're not stopping. They're not taking any breaks. Every single time we've got Rich having a flash on, getting that grand entrance on the board. They know that Bruce is pretty much far away. Tipper is keeping Bruce busy.
And it looks like between EVOS Esports finding these kills, finding these tempo advantages. It's down to Flash Wolves also to make the macro wider rotations. It's try to catch EVOS Esports off guard. And this is something that happens because we don't see the likes of a Ziggs in the game, right? You don't have someone who can clear the wave from half a screen away from the mid lane, clearing down bot or top side. And so EVOS Esports, they need to move together as a unit. It's a very different dynamic from what they had to deal with. That being said though, let's take a look back towards Cat Satan items. It's the Navori Quick Blades first, and that's a very interesting move for Desire.
Yeah, I think this is the second time we've seen the Voris being first picked up, and it's I thought it was usually because if they're in the lead, you pick that up. It's a really good first back, well, not first back, two back buy, but at the same time, it enables your cooldowns a little bit more with the crits. Dipper, you're low.
It's a pretty easy kill. I don't think there's all that much to be said here. The Captain Rain will confirm it for the Flash was by Rich. He's once again fishing for kills. Misses out the chance to charm anyone, so they're just gonna back off.
This is what we expected. You know, we talked about this before. You know, Tipper is just gonna be there as that big tank, is gonna be one of those big engage. And I really like to see how Valdis, or rather how Olaf and Jarvan 4 has been constantly together now. In the draft, just to make sure that that soft counter is not going to be available for that Olaf. So we're seeing Jarvan 4 constantly being flexed up towards top side. I mean, it's a little bit safe. I suppose you have that Airy for that big poke, but there's no outplay potential if you're a Riven, if you're a Fiora. It's not going to be there.
Look, we're watching Flash Wolves get control around the Dragon right now. We saw what happened the last time they got control around the Rift Tower. It seems like EVOS Esports, they want to start the fight once again. It's the Grand Entrance, gets a knockout onto 2. Demon once again has to run away, gets caught by the charm on the exit. And EVOS Esports make it look easy.
G4 with the stun, with the charm rather, on towards Demon. Even though Eason poured in all of his efforts to make sure the Demon is alive, G4 is able to set up that pincer attack, that flank rather, and just create chaos in the back line. And now they could be rewarded. This mid lane tower. Moonfall.
Okay, that's a good Moonfall. Catches onto 3 this time, but EVOS Esports still have quite a bit of fight power left. They're not going to give this one up so easy. Bruce jumps in for the second time, but the Flag and Drag goes across. Pippa misses out, and that is Sarah is chasing after, but it looks like EVOS Esports get away pretty free there.
Which is really good because EVOS Esports, they don't really have the means team fight-wise to get out of the fight. So they don't have disengage. So I feel like, you know, that could have ended disastrous if ever they overstayed their welcome. Flash Wolves now at the deficit. They're not getting all of these dragons so far because, again, EVOS Esports, their approach in this game is they constantly, scare out Bruce away from these fights. They're initiating first. Dipper had a beautiful flag and drag combo, and they kill a Sarah.
They're still initiating, Riku. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not about initiating first. It's always about initiating for EVOS Esports. Rich has been a monster this game. I am quite a fan of what he's been showing us this game.
Yeah, Tipper, Rich, these are the scariest members coming from EVOS Esports when it comes to engage. And I feel like it's so important for Bruce to come in, be involved in these fights, because that is your only big AoE engage for your team. And if EVOS keeps putting Bruce on a tight leash, which they've done for the first few minutes of the game, then how will Flash Wolves be able to start the fight?
That's a good question, and it doesn't seem like Flash Wolves quite have the answer just yet. They're gonna keep trying to look and fish for the answer though, because they do at least have some scaling with the Kai'Sa, so hopefully we're gonna see something good happen for them. But that being said, take a look back towards Bruce so far. 0-3, he has only the Ludens completed at this point. Means he has a little bit of damage, but you compare it to the Rabadons on the side of G4, and it's pretty obvious the kind of threats available for both sides. So Flash Wolves to be a little bit more cautious. Watch their step as they traverse EVOS Esports map.
And it's really hard. You only have, what, 1 Twin Shadows? He's sitting there almost. I mean, if you meet Rich in the jungle, usually that's basically GG. Your life is over. But yeah, just 1 Twin Shadows to basically shield you from any of these scary death brushes that Rich and Dipper may potentially start. But look at that. Baron is now being initiated.
Look, some people may think that this is a Baron bait. But not EVOS Esports. EVOS Esports don't have to worry about it. If anything happens, they're just gonna turn on you. Dipper comes in, he finds a Cataclysm, builds up a choke point. As Rich comes in, he's already popped the Guardian Angel. The Baron goes over to EVOS Esports, who've now come into the fight, who are pushing Flash Wolves away, who are trying their best to defend against that, but it's too much to deal with. Dipper goes in, Suicidal still finds one to the exit. Demon has to flash away, Cat's in too much of a threat. Flash Wolves lick their wounds and try to barely escape.
Gotta love the decision-making coming from EVOS. Almost instantly, they know that they're in the lead. They know that they can bait out the Baron, and not only bait out, but fully commit to it. And I gotta say, Rich with that big knock-up and just killing Cookie there. That means Guardian Angel popped, means Cookie not present. That means no potential of a steal on the Baron.
Yeah, and now that Dragon's coming up as well, EVOS Esports gets to rotate over, and this is the form that we were looking for, Riku.
Yeah, this is just such a solid performance. The way that they just target focused, basically scared out Bruce and everybody else for that big retreat. And again, they're Rich. I gotta hand it to Rich on that fight, and as well as Pipper. The way that they've been engaging these fights have been very solid.
First movers advantage. EVOS Esports every step of the way. Now they're crashing into waves. You still see Sarah and Cookie off in the Baron lane trying to equalize. Unfortunately, EVOS Esports will find the first turret in the mid side, are looking to grab a second in the Dragon lane, as well as the Dragon perhaps on the exit.
Yeah, that's the sad part about this. Engage again.
Yeah, they're looking and fishing for Sarah, but they're going on to Demon first. Remember, no flash available for the Kai'Sa, so this could be a good fight for them. Flash Wolves will continue to hold them alive. This Sarah's the only one to fall.
That's most unfortunate. You get the charm.
Caught by the charm and no way out. Bruce once again taken down by EVOS Esports, who have been absolutely brutal. 13 minutes knocking on the Nexus. What more can you say? A testament to EVOS Esports.
I know! We've been waiting for this matchup for one whole season, because during the Summer Super Cup, Flash Wolves never got to meet EVOS Esports. More like EVOS Esports got to meet one team, their biggest rival, is able to defeat them. And we had those question marks of how much of a gap, if there is a gap. And that's what we're seeing now in this first game at least, where the EVOS Esports just basically dismantling Flash Wolves, even though the Flash Wolves composition looked pretty solid. Bruce on the Diana, again, one of his best picks so far during the fall season. And now this is what we see. A sad 0-4-0. We expected the Bruce show, but the Bruce show was canceled.
Oh no, that is truly unfortunate, Riku. And yeah, it really does seem to go that EVOS Esports, well, it wasn't Flash Wolves and EVOS Esports not getting a match. It was Flash Wolves dodging a slaughter from EVOS Esports in the SSC. Things could have gone a very different way had we seen that matchup play out. And now 14.5 minutes with the Baron coming up in another 30 seconds. This could just be it, and Flash Wolves are looking like they're on their final legs, Riku.
Yeah, this is, you know, even though we say, yeah, the final defense perhaps, but there's not a lot to offer. There's not a lot of wave clear. Perhaps maybe the Icathan Rain coming from Demon, perhaps even from Bruce as well. But EVOS, once you step inside the range of a possible flag and drag, of a possible Rich grand entrance, like this.
Ah, there we go. Once again, Cookie.
Oh,
He's in the wrong brush here.
Yeah, that's tough. He just wanted to scout, perhaps, to see if the Baron is getting
He knows
initiated
the
on, and
Baron
that's
was
it.
getting picked out, Riku. They had the ward. They had the ward in the pit,
That's
so he knew
true.
he went over to try and stop that, but he died.
Oh no, right. You know, just Lee Sin things where you just have the opportunity to steal, but EVOS just saw that coming and basically just stopped you in your tracks.
Absolutely. Too obvious to EVOS Esports, who are, well, very frankly, in full control of this game, and it looks like they're looking to end things here. They find the catch first onto Demon, who's gone golden to try and buy some time. The Charm connects onto Eason, who's the first to fall in the process. And now, with the Nexus bare open and exposed, Bruce tries to do his best to stop things, but there we go. EVOS find the first match win.
And the Summer Super Cup champions here, EVOS even a 6, because, like, you know, you would see G4 kind of dash in and then dash out, and then you'd have the others come in, and then G4 would come in afterwards because he had, the like Spirit Rush and Ari just, dashing about. But yeah, this is excellent work from EVOS Esports. I really do hope, of course, that Flash Wolves can pull through because they did show us some amazing work. We do know them as a, one of the more aggressive teams in Group B, and definitely we know that EVOS Esports, they are scared of Flash Wolves. They do see them as a threat. Infinity, what are your thoughts on the bans over here? I think, they found out what EVOS Esports was up to with the Olaf earlier. They don't want to see that happening. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, EVOS Esports picked up the Olaf a while ago, but the problem was they were on the red side selection, but now they are on the blue side selection. So in their first pick, they want that flexibility, and Camille actually matches up on the flexible role here for EVOS Esports. Very great as a duelist. Overall, can be placed in the jungle, can be placed into the Baron lane. So they could have this 4-1 setup, have this early engage if they want to. So just removing all this, Olaf, Gragas, ribbon pick for Flash Wolves, actually I think tackles down onto Isra and even Pookie for this one.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. Leaving up Camille here might be a bit of a mistake, I would even say. Opting to ban the Varus is quite understandable when you think about what Demon's champion pool is and how efficient Tetsutan can be on that one, securing prio for his team and constantly poking from range. But in exchange, you give up Camille, which Tipper and Valdez can both play and are one of the best Camilles in the whole championship. It's just a very questionable decision to me. This Renekton Camille matchup is not even as one-sided as most people think it is, because you can't break his shield with the Renekton empowered W, so that's going to be a bit of a barrier here, which I think is a pretty bad call, especially now that they have double flex. Java and Camille, both top jug flexes. This is going to make Flash Wolves have a very hard time in.
Yeah, we all know that Tipper and Valdez likes to actually hover into the top side, go for that early engage. Having the flexibility is absolutely insane for EVOS Esports in the first two picks. But picking up the Rakan, once again, they're doing the same thing that they did a while ago. Picking up the Rakan early on, which can leave the ADC very open, very flexible. They can lean towards the Kai'Sa, they can lean towards the Zai, depending on what Flash Wolf wants to do here.
Yeah,
they have options.
I feel like, picking the Ziggs, it was a counter to G4, and they completely forgot about Tipper and Valdez and just how much of a pain they can be as a duo. And Flash Wolves, I hope they're prepared for what they actually, let loose, so to say. Omo, what do you think?
I think Flash Wolves team comp is defaulting back to something that they've played a lot in the past, something which they are kind of comfortable and familiar with. What we're likely going to see to round this one off is a Xayah Lulu combo. I could see a world where they even go for Vayne Lulu, so it's likely going to be loose on the Ziggs in the mid lane, and it's a very standard Flash Wolves team composition. You just want to have everyone run in and let Demon be the hard carry here with the Lulu buffing him. On the side of EVOS though, I like what they have a lot more. What can I say? I'm just 5 hit.
Oh. Mega Brain. Mega Brain Omo.
And
yeah, I mean, it's a really good answer to all the picks that EVOS has, right? You can dodge out on the flag and drag, you can condemn, so many spells here, and it's a hard counter to, well, not hard counter, but it's a counter to Kai'Sa as well. And you have the Lulu to buff you, so it's going to be a very efficient, effective Vayne game. And since they dropped the 5P, it made a lot of sense here.
Yeah, there's a lot of CC
to play, and then up against the Flash Wolves, they're looking to take this one away.
Yeah, this composition from them is looking really strong. Tipper again being paired with Rich here on that Rakan. They had a phenomenal performance earlier in their first game against Flash Wolves. And I can't imagine the engage is going to be even stronger because Valdez is on this Camille. That Hextech ultimatum, the hook shots, into the charm perhaps coming from G4. I bet that's going to be an insta-kill.
Okay, well here we have it. Look towards Tipper again on this Javan because he's running the Aerie, he's running Ignite, he's playing it aggressive. He's had a taste of his Sarah's Renekton the first time around. He's playing aggressively. Mid-side, the same case. Bruce is almost dead off of a level 1, level 2 Aerie. I mean, what a start to this game, Riku.
Yeah, that's usually the sad part about the Renekton matchup in general into anyone, especially level 1. You are just so vulnerable to pokes, to harass, and you're still waiting for that big level 3, which is going to put you into that big deficit just because Tipper is able to control the lane. He's going to beat level 3 first. And I assume Valdez eventually is going to get that dive onto Isera, which is going to be heartbreaking because, again, whenever we talk about Isera, Renekton is, well, his best pick, consistent pick. I don't know why I feel pained saying that for Isera.
because you know you're gonna have a very lengthy discussion with Omo at the end of the day.
Yes,
Where you're gonna talk about just how good Ysera is with Renekton, and according to him, it's not very good at all. But in the previous set, Ysera was able to pull out a minor lead in his lane up against it, but despite the fact that he was dived early on and was able to still hold on despite that. Let's see if things are going to change this time around. As G4 once again on this Ahri, he's moved away a little bit from stuff like the Ziggs and it's gone for more, well, control mage, assassin, whatever kind of pick you want to call it. But Ahri has been a big one for EVOS.
Yes, something that is able to gank, as well as create opportunities whenever Valdis is gonna move around the map. Usually Valdis landing the stun into the charm would be ideal. And Bruce so far hasn't been able to show up because of the constant ganks from Rich, which is a different scenario now. Because Cat Satan on this Kai'Sa usually can't exactly be left alone, especially have a Vi on the opposite side. And now that they don't have priority in the lane means that Rich may be shackled into this lane.
It's a very different position from what they had last game, where Rich was just able to freely roam around the map, and EVOS Esports recognized that. I think it's a little bit of a different composition to try and run for anyway. There's a lot of combos that he can try and execute later on. I'm quite interested to see how that one's going to play out. Rich is running, well, let's take a look towards the mid side first, because they're moving on to Bruce, but he has double stuns, he has everything. There's not too much danger to him, he's going to get away. And EVOS Esports just put on the pressure, but it's nowhere near as bloodthirsty as they were last game.
Yeah, EVOS is trying their best to burn a summoner spell or two from Bruce, and so far he has been very patient, always saving the satchel for that big escape. And because, again, Rich is shackled into his lane, it is all up to Thipper now, and as well as Valdis, to create pressure onto Bruce. But, you know, he's not exactly on a playmaking champion like a Diana, like an Aurelia. He's now on a Ziggs.
Oh, absolutely.
Who's more, what do you call this? Being able to chill and stay in the lane. Yeah, no initiates, just there to plant some bombs. Not plant some bombs, to rain some bombs in the backline.
Riku. It sounds very zen. You know, you're out here, you got your pots, your pots, you got your soil, you plant some of your bombs. You know, that's just life. You know, you curate some, make sure they're watered every day, make sure to get accurate amount of sun. And then maybe, you know, your bomb plants will grow into bigger bomb plants. You can use those bombs instead. Is that how it works? Is that where the bombs come from, Riku?
Yeah, I think so. You will be able to...
We don't know how science works. That's just our analysis. Take it or leave it. As we do see Flash Wolves start to commit a little bit. And it's interesting. You have the Vayne just being able to push Valdis away, who has now jumped on him. You don't have to condemn. So that's going to be a big difference maker. Demon flashes the wall and gets out in time.
But that's a big ult now gone. No wild growth available for Flash Wolves. But big ults blown off by EVOS Esports. And right on time for the objective. That means wherever Flash Wolves doesn't want to take, they're going to take that objective instead. And with that, they're going to be a little bit more reserved now. Flash Wolves knows this, that they won that ult economy. That's why they're going for this Rift Herald.
Yeah, taking their own pick to the objective that they want to go for. EVOS Esports are going for the Dragon Den. This is quite an interesting adaptation. Most teams have been showing a lot of prio towards the Rift Herald, so it looks like EVOS Esports have kind of acknowledged that maybe they've lost some tempo in this early game, so it's going to be difficult, you know. And that being said, you know, now it looks like Flash Wolves are going to be able to use it towards the top side quickly as they try to shove out the wave as fast as possible. Tipper is going to come here soon, but there we go. The initial crowd control comes across, and it's crowd control on demand. It's Tipper going down, and you're already dead, buddy.
That's pretty tragic there for Tipper. I mean, that's 3 people in the top side, walked in. Again, it's a Jarvan 4. There's no outplay potential available, sadly. Oh no!
That is unfortunate. But Bruce, he's come online. He's finally getting to play the game. It's so happy for this man. In the last game, he was receiving some well, not so nice treatment. Let's put it that way, right? He was getting tapped pretty hard, living rent-free in EVOS Esports' head, and this time around, he's gonna come online as the Ziggs. Does prioritize the early hourglass, though, so that's an interesting move for the Ziggs. It shows how much pressure there is from EVOS Esports and how he has to respect it.
Yeah, Bruce was 1-5 in game number 1. He has the Zonius.
No point stopping there, Riku. It's a pretty quick kill. Ysera's gone and did.
Yeah, he's EVOS Esports just pouring in the usual pressure that they did in game number 1 here. Flash Wolves, though, stepping up the response on that pressure instead as well, being able to open up the mid lane. We'll see though as they work towards the bot lane as well. I think they can form a dive. Cookie will have his ult available soon, but they will choose to just reset.
Flash Wolves have put their foot on the gas pedal, and it looks like they are not willing to take a win or a loss today. They just want ties, because they gave the first win over the EVOS Esports, and now they're trying to pick up one for themselves. Can we see Flash Wolves 0-3 by the end of the day? What a way to start things off.
That is definitely not the start that you want. Especially, again, high expectations. Flash Wolves, I remember they mentioned they want to fight one team again. They want to get that revenge because not only do they, I feel like, consider them as the Kryptonite back in their own playoffs for both fall and the summer season, but they also got knocked out as well by the same team, by one team during the Summer Super Cup playoffs. So this is a statement, right? Because EVOS versus one team during the finale. Now they are struggling against...
I mean, that's just a huge grudge, right? That's a huge grudge match. When your regional matches aren't enough, you bring it on the international stage. And Flash Wolves on the international stage will see Demon go down as they find Rich trying to kite away, but it's going to be the collapse coming through from Flash Wolves. They have found the opportunity, to found the angle. Eason is going to face off against VODs, who's jumped back on the Lulu. It's a huge tactical sweep. Now coming online, the Camille is massive, and so is Cat Satan, who's jumping to the back with the Killer Instinct, takes down the first, looking for the second. Revenge on the Bruce, but it won't quite happen. They back away by find a couple of kills.
That was too close for Cat Satan. That could have ended with a triple kill. But they're so happy with pushing Flash Wolves back into their own base. And now they will equalize the map by taking down this mid lane. And it's so perfect timing too because the Infernal Drake is about to spawn in a few seconds. And as well as G4 picking up a Rabadon's for sure later on. I feel like that's a really nice spike for the Ahri. And is able to most likely one-shot. Let's take a look at that again. It was a big knock-up. Coming from the side of Rich. See, that triple knock-up. It all started, though, with the Assault and Battery. Wild growth here and there, but the collapse coming from Evo is using this flank. Cat Satan G4 is really well-positioned, and the rest is history. Killer Instinct there. And, yeah, positioning coming from Cat Satan was just great. Him entering the fight late was great.
We're starting to see some of that of the Kai'Sa pick as, once again, Val is trying to get the jump onto Demon. Will have to kite away, though. Vayne chasing after, he's popped the ultimate. This is it. This is the Vayne moment that we were waiting for. Veldus gets on the turret. Will go down to the Mega Inferno Bomb as Rich baited in by his teammate falls as well. But meanwhile, EVOS Esports are hammering down the mid lane. They find the inner tier turret in the process.
Yeah, they're fine just exchanging the Infernal Drake over to the mid lane. That's a lot of space to work with. EVOS now with a collapse.
They're coming in quick, and this time Tipper, he has the damage coming through. He's paired together with G4, who find the first kill, who's moving on to the second, moving on to the third, and look at this. Cat Satan has come online in every way that you were looking for. Veldus is gonna jump into the back. I don't know quite what's happening here. Cat Satan is still trying to make things happen, but it's too aggressive as Bruce once again takes down the Kai'Sa. Tipper barely gets away, but Veldus is back in time and looking to pick up this dragon.
I love how torn EVOS Esports was there. They could have finished, I was that 500, 600 HP already on the dragon, but they abandoned
I think it was
ship.
right about, it was triple digits for sure, Riku.
Yeah, they abandoned ship, Brandon, and they decided to possibly pick up a kill. But you know, Cat Satan at this point of the game, maybe not just yet for that Killer Instinct into 3 and just get that easy triple kill. Still not yet. Eason is right there for that easy polymorph there for denying that. But at the end of the day, you know, they still get the Infernal Drake. The thing about the J4 Cataclysm interaction is always Tipper will be condemned every single time he uses the Cataclysm by Demon. And here's the Killer Instinct into 3. Unfortunately, Tipper couldn't help as much because, you know, loss of cooldowns already at the time. Still, though, the story is they still secure the Infernal Drake.
Well, story doesn't end there because EVOS Esports still have to close out the game. They might have pulled ahead with the gold advantage, but it's a small one. 3,000, nowhere near as much as what they had last game, so they cannot rush this early Baron like they did last. So Flash Wolves, you know, it's going to be a lot more conventional for them. They can play it out the way they like to play it out, slow pace, and in that 20 to 30 minute mark, that's the Flash Wolves that we know and love.
That is basically their win condition. 20 minutes, the game is still going. That's a Flash Wolves win. I mean, there is that demon. There is that demon in Eason as well to make sure that the Vayne is going to get free hits. gonna survive as much as he can, and as well as, you know, get to shred everybody else on the opposite side.
Well, they've moved on to Sarah, and this should be an easy pickup once again on the Renekton. It's a nice grab, but what more will EVOS Esports find from this?
That is the biggest question here. No objectives, just the Baron. We'll see, though, if they are going to commit to that. 24 seconds on the clock. I think the only thing that they can do is just be able to gain more space for that split push, perhaps. Coming from maybe Valdis or Tipper. But can't exactly move towards the bottom just because Baron is now spawned. They want to make sure that they're there. Always ready in case they get a pick, because it's possible. Tipper Rich, a great combo for that big initiate to make sure that everyone falls down immediately. Valdis as well with a Hextech Ultimatum. And for Flash Wolves, they have the tools as well. They've got Assault and Battery. They've got the stuns coming from Isera. They've got Bruce already, basically, on his spike. So this is the reason why we see EVOS being much, much careful.
Yeah, they were definitely being careful there, and Valdis, he was almost spotted out. Didn't realize he was standing on top of ward. That was scary for a moment there, I'm not gonna lie. Demon is starting to do some decent damage. 2 items completed and is starting to really lay down the hood. EVOS Esports, though, you look at Cat Satan, he's up by not a half component, 1.5 components, looking close to an Infinity Edge or whatever he's trying to build at this point. You know, it's getting towards a stage where it's difficult for Flash Wolves to deal with the Kai'Sa, who's going to be able to jump your backline. And Ysera not building as tanky as he probably wants to. He only has that Black Cleaver, no Starix. It's tough.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult because twice in a row, Cat Satan was able to Killer Instinct. Not exactly the 1v3 situation he was expecting, but now picking up more items on the board, Flash Wolves will have to worry about that big aggressive Killer Instinct, which is where Eason will wish he has the Polymorph to deny Cat Satan's aggression later on.
Things are slowing down, and as we head into Flash Wolves kind of game, slower pace, more macro based, and it's because of the Ziggs that makes it so difficult for EVOS Esports to get anything done. They won't be able to push out lanes. They won't be able to find much pressure on the map because of how effective the Ziggs is. And it's going to be difficult to try and sneak away an objective, especially because they have to worry about the Infernal Bomb. That being said, though, Tipper, he's done waiting. He's got impatient. He tries to start things off the Cataclysm. Rich is over in the back, trying to buy time, trying to jump onto Demon. G4 won't quite be able to get much more done. He's trying to rotate around. Is Sarah buying so much time and space? Cat Satan jumps in. He's moved onto Cookie, and they've taken him down. Bruce is flashed onto his face with a blast cone right there. The rest of EVOS are here to clean up as they take down 4, and it's just left of Eason for Flash Wolves.
It's just a measly Lulu here to defend the base. And now what a big, big fight initiated by Tipper there. Immediately condemned, immediately shredded down by Demon, but he's doing a good job. Demon is so busy shredding Tipper that the rest of EVOS is able to freely reign in the fights, maneuver around the fights, remove Bruce immediately, remove the front line like Isera, like Cookie immediately. And by the time Demon is done with Tipper, the front line is gone.
Well, there you have it. This is the exact situation that we were looking for. And, you know, Cat Satan here was looking pretty low, tries to still cheese out a potential angle for anything else, honestly, but Bruce was right there to take him down as well. So at least being able to equalize a little bit more. If Cat Satan was alive there, I could have very well seen a Baron go down for EVOS Esports. So nice equalizer for Bruce towards the end there, I think.
Yeah, it's I guess the way where Flash Wolves is going to be happy. Bruce is going to be that star right now, especially the Baron is up. We know the Ziggs, when a Baron is being initiated, Bruce is just going to sit pretty at the back of the Baron pit, lay in the hurt, lay in the bombs, just shower Flash Wolves with a bunch of love. We'll see if that's going to be possible. Now that Flash Wolves will be the first one here towards the Baron pit. Look at Bruce. He's going to stay in position over here to zone away EVOS.
Interesting. Look at Flash Wolves right now. Look at the way they're playing. They're basically going full on. You're approaching me mode kind of energy here, Riku, and those esports, they're not having any of it. They're trying to push them away, trying to find an angle where they can possibly get a catch. Cookie starts to take some damage. The Charm's not gonna be able to connect, but that doesn't matter because Tipper is still looking to start off the fight. They're trying to jump onto Bruce first. Won't be able to connect onto that. Ysera's gonna go down, caught in the cage. Hextech on the main and finds that. With the charm moving on the Cookie, he tries to equalize, gets the shield, gets the wild growth, and he's still alive through it all. And Cat Satan tries to pump in damage with the killer instinct, and Demon dashes into the charm, won't be able to find much more, does manage to ultimately take down the Javelin and holds on to the chances for Flash Wolves.
And that is Demon not even receiving the wild growth. Well, yeah, it was basically Cookie who received the wild growth there to bait out EVOS Esports to fully commit and eliminate Cookie. But at the end of the day, Demon is gonna be that scary threat. Let's take a look at that again. Demon having the shields, everything. Big free hit. Look at this, wild growth immediately being popped towards Cookie. Therefore he survives. Therefore EVOS is forced to fully commit. While EVOS destroys Bruce, Demon has been completely healthy all this time. While G4 had a good charm, it was still not enough. Really good condemns, really good positioning coming from Demon.
And we're starting to see why they crafted for the Vayne, why they put Bruce on the Ziggs, why they went for the Vayne in this game, the game that they want to try to equalize things. So it's a pretty impressive showing from Demon, who's now up to 3 items with the Wits End. This could be the deciding factor. Flash Wolves are picking up some tempo here as a... Well, honestly, EVOS Esports, they also didn't have the wave set up in the side lane, so not much pressure on Flash Wolves' end there as well. So let's see if things are going to change here. Oh, Baron started off. That's pretty quick, though. Rich is here trying to block this, trying to stop Cookie from getting into the pit. Gets the charm off as Valdez secures the Baron, and EVOS Esports sneak that away so quickly.
What a sneaky Baron again coming from EVOS. That is already the second time, basically. And Flash Wolves, even though they had the tools, a Vayne inside a Baron pit, inside a Dragon pit, that is just free reign of eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who do I want to condemn and has to go immediately? And Flash Wolves, now they have to defend against this. Vayne, no wave clear. So Bruce will be, with my fingers, well, I don't know what to call
wagging.
that motion. Wagging, yes, thank you, Brandon.
That's
exactly.
You got that energy right now, right here, as G4 is going to split push, hit the side lane. Ysera's going to have to respond. This means that Flash Wolves, they're kind of lost. They're kind of wandering around the map, trying to get some vision control, trying to get some pressure off. They have a line of wards there, but it doesn't extend towards the Dragon. And so when that Elder is up, they're going to have to walk into it, and EVOS Esports are going to be waiting.
And they are just there to set up this rinse and repeat kind of approach where Pipper is just gonna, you know, get the Cataclysm in on the board.
Oh no, they found the catch on the Bruce. This could be it. This could be the game-calling fight as Flash Wolves lose their mid laner and losing Eason the second to follow in the process. Cookie's gonna go down. Demon's going golden, but he's dead as well. Ysera the last to fall, but surely will as the Flash Wolves dismantle into pieces in the face of EVOS Esports who are looking to end the game. It's finally a game of EVOS Esports.
G4 with the game-ending charms there, manages to catch Bruce immediately, and they take Flash Wolves down. They get 3 points, they get 2-0, and what a statement once more coming from the Kings of